In 2022, NASA released the first images from the James Webb Space Telescope. The public shared them everywhere. It was a moment of pure triumph. Then the data came in, and some of the world's top astronomers went quiet because what Webb was showing them didn't match anything we thought we knew. Galaxies that shouldn't exist, stars that seemed older than the universe itself, and a discovery so strange that one scientist called it a crisis in cosmology. This is Cosmos Unknown, and today we break down exactly what Webb found, why it matters, and what it means for everything we thought we knew about the universe. To understand why this is such a big deal, you need to know what scientists expected to find. Our current model of the universe is called lambda CDM. It says the universe started 13.8 billion years ago with the Big Bang. For the first few 100 million years after that, darkness, no stars, no galaxies, just vast clouds of hydrogen, slowly pulling together under gravity. The first galaxies were supposed to be small, dim, chaotic, barely formed. Webb was designed to confirm this, to peer back through time, and finally see those tiny, messy baby galaxies taking their first shape in the early universe. Instead, it found monsters. Webb started detecting galaxies from just 300 to 500 million years after the Big Bang. That's incredibly early in cosmic history, but these galaxies weren't small and dim. They were massive, bright, fully formed. Some of them were as large as the Milky Way, a galaxy that took over 13 billion years to build. One galaxy, nicknamed the Universe Breaker by researchers, appeared to contain the mass of 100 billion suns, formed within the first 500 million years of the universe. Under our current models, that is impossible. You simply cannot build that much mass that fast. It's like finding a fully grown oak tree 3 days after planting an acorn. And Webb didn't find just one of these impossible galaxies. It found dozens. So what is going on? Scientists have three main theories. The first, we are wrong about dark matter. Dark matter makes up about 27% of the universe. We have never directly detected it. We only know it exists because of how it affects the things we can see. Our entire galaxy formation model depends on how dark matter behaves. If that behavior is different from what we assumed, galaxies could form far faster than our models predict. The second theory, the very first stars were different. The first generation of stars, scientists call them population 3 stars, have never been directly observed. Not once. Some researchers believe these stars were enormous, hundreds of times the mass of our sun, burning so intensely, so brilliantly, that they could have seeded entire galaxies in a fraction of the time our models allow. The third theory is the most radical. The Big Bang model itself may need to be updated. Maybe the universe is older than 13.8 billion years. Maybe what we call the Big Bang was not the absolute beginning. Maybe something happened before it, something our current physics cannot yet describe. This idea was considered fringe just a few years ago. Today, some of the world's leading cosmologists are taking it seriously. We don't know which theory is correct. And that is exactly the point. Here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Science is not broken when it finds something unexpected. Science is working. Every great leap in human understanding began exactly this way, with data that didn't fit. Einstein's theory of relativity came from experiments that contradicted Newton's laws of motion. The discovery of dark energy came from distant supernovae that were dimmer than they should have been. In both cases, the universe was not wrong. Our models were wrong, and we updated them. That is how science works. That is how it has always worked. Webb is not breaking the universe. Webb is showing us that the universe is far more interesting, far more complex, far more surprising than we ever gave it credit for. And we are standing at the very beginning of finding out why. The James Webb Space Telescope cost $10 billion. It took 25 years to design and build. It carries the work of thousands of scientists and engineers from 17 countries. And within its very first year of operation, it gave us more questions than answers. That is not a failure. That is science at its absolute finest. Because every question Webb raises points us toward a deeper truth, a more complete picture of where we came from, of what the universe actually is. And we are the first generation in human history with a tool powerful enough to ask these questions and begin to hear the answers. Next video, we go somewhere even more extreme, the most violent, the most mysterious, the most mind-bending place in the known universe. A place where the laws of physics stop working, where time itself